Oh boy, it feels so good to be back. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. I haven't said that in a while. For those of you who are new to the channel, hello. For those of you who are old hat and have been around for a while, you know that we've taken a break because of the SAG strike. I am in SAG as an actor, and thus I was sort of told to put a pause and a pin and anything and everything that talked about struck work. So that is why we have been on a bit of a hold and hiatus until now. And I know they've been ratified. Well, as of Tuesday, this past Tuesday, they've been ratified, but they've been off strike for a while, for about 2 weeks now, pre-Thanksgiving. Then the holidays happened, so I just kind of had to figure out my bearings and wait to get back into it. So now, officially back on the grind, and we will bring you things regularly back to these Hollywood Already Did It YouTube channel. Starting off with this new film on Netflix called Leave the World Behind, based on a book of the same name, but the adaptation to film for Netflix has been done by Sam Esmail, who is the creator of Bad Robot and the first season of Homecoming, neither of which I have seen, which I think I would like both because I'd like dealing with conspiracy and tech and all that stuff. I just have not had a chance to watch either. And they're on my list. But there's so much stuff coming that I haven't had a chance. So any of you who are new to the channel, I do my best when I talk about films to not be spoilery. So unless it actively says marked in the title spoilers, I'm going to avoid spoilers as much as I possibly can. But I am going to talk about what the synopsis of the film is and kind of give you my feelings of how it is done. This movie is about a family of the Sanfords, Amanda and Clay, played by Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, who are city folks, and the hustle and bustle of the city has sort of had their way with them. They kind of want to just get away, and they, in a fun way, don't like people. At least one of them doesn't like people, and they decide to go take an Airbnb and take a vacation, a staycation, but in a rural area of their hometown. So they head to a secluded vacation house, beautiful house in Long Island with their kids Rose and Archie. Once they are there, chaos begins to sort of ensue, and in that chaos, the original owners of the home, G.H. Scott, George, played by Mahershala Ali, and his daughter, arrive, and a little bit of are they the people who they say they are? What is happening with the world around us? Is this where are we going? Racial tensions, denial of tech issues, a lot of stuff just happens, and they have to figure out their way to get out of this amongst while also dealing with each other. It's a bit of a character study. Anytime you have a movie that almost takes place in just one set, for the most part, this one it's not a one set play type of thing because there are different places that they go to, but for the most part, it takes place in that one set. So this becomes a character study, and it does a really good job of dealing with those characters. I think Amanda and George probably the strongest of the two, which is played by Julia Roberts and Mahershala Ali. But I think the daughter Ruth Mahalia it plays fantastically as well. This film is an apocalyptic thriller, and it takes its time to get there. There are chapters to it. It goes like chapter 1, chapter 2. It's gorgeously shot. But even as long as it is, it's 2 hours plus. I don't feel that time. The time moves quickly. So I think even when it's over, I'm like, oh, wait, that's it? I could have kept going for another couple minutes on this. So it gets you in, and they're engaging characters and engaging to see the character studies amongst each other, dealing with socialism and racism and just tech and the gripping world that how tech has us, and TV and film, or the grip that has on the world. All of those things sort of come up, but on a surface level and a very simplistic way to deal with it. Nothing feels too preachy or ham-fisted or too highbrow or intellectual. It's all very surface level and simple, and it comes to you. You can see where a lot of things are heading and what a lot of things are saying, and what they're saying. You can agree with it or not agree with it, depending on where you stand when you watch this. But it's positing ideas instead of giving you answers, and it sort of deals with how each character deals with the reaction to coming to face with someone who has different ideals or different beliefs than themselves. We have a brief Kevin Bacon sighting. So anybody playing those 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon games, we've got another one for you. But he comes in a very, I won't say stereotypical. He's great. The character he plays is fantastic. Danny, when he finally does show up on screen, it's really good and really well done. But you know people who think and respond and act in the manner that he does. And it's sort of now dealing with another person that you sort of fold into the mixing pot of all these other characters that you have with the kids. I will say this, out of the kids, the Stanford family kids, Rose and Archie, they don't really have much to do here. This is mostly a Julia and Mahershala project with Mahalia coming in as the third important character. Ethan Hawke's here, and he does great when he's on screen. But those two, because they're so much opposites of each other, the majority of the screen time is spent with the two of them interacting with each other and getting to know each other and having some moments where they genuinely like, I misjudged what I thought of you originally. All in all, I enjoy this movie, but I must say that the ending of this movie is going to decide whether or not you are a fan or you're not a fan. I am a fan of ambiguity. I like it. I love because it creates more conversation after the fact. If everything is sort of just given to you and you're like, hey, everybody ends up perfectly fine or everything ends up terribly wrong, you don't really, you kind of just take it, walk away with it, and just let it wash over you and you're done. When you have an ambiguous ending, you can kind of let it rest on you a little bit more. You're thinking about it more. You're asking questions like, was this or was this that? However, I will say, even with that ambiguous ending, this movie, as great as it is, the acting is great, as the directing is great, as the script, when they are talking and doing all the dialogue and the pieces to get there, everything is really well done. The ambiguousness of the ending doesn't help in our replay value in regards to watching this, try to go back through this film again. Like sometimes when you have an ambiguous ending, you're like, oh, I can't wait to start this film over again so I can kind of get to this piece or pluck this out. But there's not enough stuff in this movie that is so hard to understand or hard to fathom or hard to get. It's all really simple for the most part. So you're doing character studies, simple character studies, you're doing character studies. So it's not really worthwhile to go back through, even though the ending kind of is like, cool, all right. But I will say, if you're a fan of either Mahershala Ali or Julia Roberts, you definitely should add this to your repertoire. Also, if you're a fan of Sam Esmail and the way that he directs and the way that he writes, this is probably going to be something up your alley as well. So, on my time scale of play it again, Sam, I didn't mind that. Once is enough, or give me a time zone so I never have to think about this film again. This would fall on the, I didn't mind that. Like, I genuinely enjoyed the road of doing this and watching this film and going from piece to piece. It's just not something that, one, I can actively recommend to everyone or most people, and two, that it's not something that I'm going to try and go back and watch again, or I won't discuss again. Oh, that part was my favorite part, or that part was my. I don't have any of those beats in there. I just think it's a really good character piece that I think if you're a fan of some of the folks that I mentioned before, you'll get enjoyment out of this. Good to be back. I'm glad I get to talk about things again. I will be talking about a bunch of movies. I'm getting caught up watching movies again. And the first show that I will be talking about in its entirety will be Reacher, the second season of Reacher. Can't wait for that. But it's good to be back. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at, see, so outdated. It's changed the name since I've been gone. You can follow us on X at Hollywood80i. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDid@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. That's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. We will be getting that bad boy started back up shortly as well. Like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.